Tory joins us right now. We'll talk a little bit more seriously now about some issues, and we're talking about the budget right now. Let's deal with that right now. This is never an easy time. We start getting into January and February in this city, and it just becomes saber rattling, and we're going to cut this, we're going to cut that. So this is a tough time, especially for a new mayor.
Yeah, but I'm trying to cut back on all the saber rattling and endless kind of discussions and deep holes that have to be dug out of, and really present people with the facts and say, okay, I committed to a property tax increase at or below the rate of inflation, and we've given that. But at the same time, we're making significant investments in the city that I thought absolutely had to be made. Frankly, Rob Ford gutted the transit system, especially in the suburbs, and people sort of thought those cuts sounded good at the time. But when they realized how many bus routes they lost entirely, how many bus routes were cut back. I was just talking to one of your teammates here who was talking about the overnight bus that he takes to work. And it was hugely crowded because a deliberate decision was made to allow those buses to become more crowded to save money. And I just felt that was not the right thing to do for the city, that we've got to have a properly functioning transit system. So a big part of the new investment we're making as a result of the tax increase is in better transit. So that's the kind of budget it is. We're trying to be straight up with people and do what's right. And not everybody will agree, but that's politics.
Let's quickly comment on the Globe story this morning, saying the Presto is going to come out a year earlier.
I came to office and sat down with the TTC people, and look, they're hardworking, competent people, but I have said, and they get a little bit irritated, that there wasn't the sense of urgency across the whole government about things like this. Presto will make life much better for transit users, and so I sort of said, can you hurry it up? And we hurried up the use of debit cards, you know, in the subway. No big sort of technological revolution there, but it wasn't being done.
Should have been done years ago.
Yeah, but they've worked hard, and they are accelerating it, and I think that's going to be great for commuters. It'll allow, you know, all kinds of things to happen, but mostly just for you to swipe a card and walk on the bus or the streetcar or the subway. It's complicated because you're dealing with so many vehicles in the case of the TTC, but this is very good news, and it's the hard work done by Mr. Byford and the team to move up the schedule that was supposed to be kind of years from now, and very frustrating.
Keeping a tax increase at bay is going to depend very heavily on what Queen's Park can do for Toronto. That is the real unknown here. This has been factored in, but what if Queen's Park does not come up?
They've sort of indicated last night what they're going to do, and I'm kind of on the one hand grateful they're going to help us to keep the tax increase
they're
lower.
Talking now about giving us a loan with interest.
And I was going to say, I'm also disappointed at the same time, because frankly, this all results from a long shaggy dog story I won't tell you or the listeners, the viewers. But it is a decision they made, which I think was wrong, to withdraw that funding in the first place. But now what they're going to do, and I guess this is the, you know, thank heavens for small mercies, is they are going to cushion that blow for Toronto taxpayers. So instead of an $86 million problem, it will be much, much smaller for this year. But having said that, I did the best I could in terms of getting some help. They're basically broke, and I think are not in a position to, you know, hand out money. And I understand that part. But I'm still disappointed at the overall result. But I'm grateful that they're doing something to help us, to help taxpayers.
Very quickly, at a Police Services Board meeting later on today, you will be there. Two questions. If you had been there last year, would Bill Blair contract, do you think, have been any different? Would it have been renewed? And second of all, do you think we're going to see the new chief revealed today?
No, you definitely will not see the new chief revealed. What you are going to see within days is an ad that sort of spells out what we're looking for in a new chief, so people will see that, and I'm sure find it interesting reading. So that process is at that stage. We're just about to advertise and get a list of candidates and interview them and so on. He's leaving in April. I'm not going to answer your hypothetical looking back question and saying what if, what if, what if. The decision was made. He is going to retire, and we're going to have a new chief, and he's done a great job. But, you know, there does come a time for change, and we're there.
All right. I know you're really busy, and you're always running, and you're going to
pleasure to be here.
Were you hopping on the subway this morning?
I was on the subway this morning, yeah. And people are always glad to see you on the subway because they know that, you know, you're at least getting a bit of a glimpse into what's going on each day, and I'm happy to ride the subway. It's a great way to get to work.
No kidding. All right. Thank you very much, John. Let's check on the school day forecast. Here's Frank.